Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back. So today we've got a review for you on the Blade Runner series Heli quad. It's a 2.4 gigahertz quadcopter, and this is put out by Interactive Toys Concepts. And this is one of the new machines in their lineup of helicopters. Quote, this is quadcopter. Anyhow, so a little bit about this machine. It's got this safety cage around it, which is actually kind of nice. So if you're flying indoors, it'll help protect stuff, including the blades, to a certain degree, I'm sure. I haven't flown it outside. I actually just picked this thing up. But I did play with it a little bit in the house, and so I can give you a little bit of info on the flying characteristics and overall what I found so far on it. Now, it does come with 4 spare rotor blades, and it comes with a USB charger, which is actually a 2-part charger. You've got the box here that just plugs right into the back end, and like so. And make sure your power switch is turned off or it won't charge. The light will be initially red, and then it goes green when it's charged. The other end, of course, is USB ported, so you can just plug this into a USB power pack on your wall, or USB port on your computer is fine, and it'll charge it up in, they say, about 40 to 75 minutes, just depending, I guess, on how depleted the battery is. Now, it is a 3-axis gyro system that's in this. It does have 2 red LED lights on the front end, so at least you know where your front is, which is cool. I kind of like this, you know, kind of little spacey ship type body. It's kind of neat. It's, you know, unique and different compared to a lot of the other quads out there. As far as the underside goes, you would be able to access the battery, I would imagine, to change it if necessary, but you're going to have to do a lot of taking apart of stuff here. Now, your gears here, you've got plastic gears against plastic pinion gears. Now, this has got some good points as far as wear factor goes. Plastic to plastic is actually sometimes a little bit better than plastic to brass. However, I would have preferred to see brass pinions, just because my experience with the brass pinions in these quadcopters, they really do work really well. Plastic pinions, they'll get a certain amount of heat going because it is a lot of friction, and eventually these pinions will just fly off one of these times. But they're easily replaceable if you can get spares. And we're going to talk about parts access too. Now, I have found that from flying this in the house, because I haven't had it outside, but flying it in the house, it is extremely stable. I haven't tried the stunt mode, but you do have a switch here called ALT. So you push it, and then just whatever direction you want to go, it'll do the flip in that way. So it's basically, it's the same as your Lighthawk Quattros and a bunch of the WL Toys machines out there as far as stunt flipping characteristics goes. You also have a clicker switch left and right for spin control to settle that down if you need to, as well as forward and reverse trim control and side control for your banking. Now, the one thing I found extremely funky about this thing when I first fired it up was I'm used to, with all my other quads I own, including my minis, I'm used to the left and right on the right stick being my banking maneuver. In this case, they've set it up like a regular helicopter, which in some ways actually makes this thing a lot easier to fly, especially for beginners. So your left and right control here is actually your spin control, just like it would activate on a regular helicopter. And of course, forward is forward, backwards, backwards. Now your throttle, it's a spring-loaded throttle. Now that does annoy me a little bit because it makes it very hard to get precise positioning and still being able to do your banking maneuver, which is your left and right on this side instead of over here. But otherwise, I mean, it does take some getting used to, but I guess you can get used to just about anything. I do find, in a way, that it is actually kind of nice having your spin control here. So if you're just going to fly forward and, you know, go spin around, you know, turn, you know, type of thing, do this sort of thing, it actually works rather well for that, and it's less confusion for the beginner. So that, I could say, was actually probably a pretty good idea, really. Simple on and off power switch. Pro version setup and regular. Now this is your flying characteristics, which is going to control your cyclics. So on regular, you know, basically you've got a slower response, which I found on the slower response was extremely annoying trying to do the banking maneuver indoors. So in a zero wind situation, it actually really sucked. I really wasn't too happy with that. It just didn't seem to have a fast response or really very much of a response. Putting it into the Pro version, now this made things a lot more sensitive, which I figured it would be. Now my bank maneuver control is very nice. I really like it, so you can get out of trouble quick if you need to. Also, you know, your spin rate really doesn't go up much anyhow. Forward and backward, however, that can get you to a nice steep angle, you know, kind of like this. So it can get up and boogie really good. Now, you've got about a range of a little over 100 feet with this thing. It may go a little further because it is 2.4 gigahertz, but you know, it's about 100 feet roughly. It's gonna get awful small up at that height too, so you know, you'd want to fly this closer to the ground, but it does have some good distance. Now the radio only uses 3 AA batteries, which is kind of nice instead of the 9-volt system. You know, and it is a comfortable remote in the hand. I kind of like that, and I like the short antenna, which is nice because it is the 2.4 gigahertz. I would not expect to see a metal antenna, so short stubby thing, you know, keeps it out of the way nice. And the remote can actually stand up by itself, you know, without any difficulty. Binding issues, I've had none. The big thing is you have to have this on a flat surface, then turn your power switch on, wait a couple of seconds, then turn on your remote, let it do its cycling, and then full throttle up and let go, and then your red light should be solid, and then you're ready to fly. So flying, like I said, was pretty stable. Pretty happy with that. Like I said, a little bit different in flying characteristics because I'm used to my banking maneuver being here on quadcopters and on 4-channel helicopters. So it's a little bit of untraining for me to do, but I got the hang of it pretty quickly. It is kind of nice. They do give you the 4 extra blades, you know, so if you do damage a blade, you know, you've got 4 extras. And you do have to be very mindful of blades on any of the quadcopters because they are labeled like an A blade, A1, B2, etc. They got to go in the right spot, so you have to have the right pitch blade. Otherwise, your heli or your quad in this case is going to act really funny. So you want to make sure that you check the underside of the blade when you take it off, and make sure you match it up with the appropriate numbered or lettered blade that you're going to replace it with, so that you get the right pitch control there and it'll fly proper. Now, I did look into some spare parts for this on their website because Interactive Toys does carry some parts for their machines, and this one so far the only thing they have is a radio. Now, they may come out with more parts. I'm going to keep an eye on their website because it is a very new machine to the market. Now, the next thing you're going to probably want to know is how much. Well, it's 130 bucks at the source. Right now it's actually on sale for about 90, I think it is. Don't quote me on that though. But I find that so far 130 is really steep. The sale price is not too bad, you know. But I would say that considering there really isn't a lot of access to parts right now, maybe 90 bucks is okay, you know. I'm thinking it should be worth more around the neighborhood of about 60 to 70 bucks. You know, price it up there against the SEMA quadcopters. You know, just because it is more of a toy grade machine than anything else, at least it seems to be at this point in time anyhow, due to the lack of parts. Now, if they don't increase their parts access, that's going to be a bit of a disappointment. So I'm really hoping that they come up with some replacement parts, including batteries, more extra blades, you know, that sort of thing. Maybe even another cage, perhaps. Because, I mean, anything can happen, you know what I mean? and so you need access to parts. Even if something happens to your gears here, especially the pinion gears, they don't give you any spare pinions. You know, it's like, ooh, darn. You know, what happens if one of those goes? Well, then you're kind of euchred at the moment, right? But given there's no parts access right now other than a radio, it's actually not bad at 90 bucks. It does fly very well indoors. I've seen one flying outdoors, and it seems to fly really good too. I'm going to test it myself, but that video is going to have to wait until the springtime, because it's now winter and we now have snow outside and a lot more snow coming, and I don't fly this stuff out in the snow because snow and a lot of RC toys just don't get along. So that's going to have to wait until the springtime for an outdoor video, but I'll see about doing an indoor flight video in the next little bit. But otherwise, I wanted to get this video looked after. I've had a bit of flight time on it, you know, and my first impressions of this thing, because it's more or less it's a first impressions review, is overall I would say, you know, giving everything like quality, performance, ease of use, etc., etc., I probably put this thing in somewhere around about a 3 3/4 out of 5, and that's because right now there's no extra parts. You know, so if you go through these blades, you've got no extras that you can get right now off their website. Only a radio, that's it. So that's kind of a bad point. You know, so let's hope that Interactive Toys actually comes out with some good amount of replacement parts for this thing, and then maybe our rating scale can go up. But for now, that's where it sits with me. You know, I'm not saying it's a waste of money. It's not. I mean, 90 bucks is not bad for an on sale price, I suppose. And it is a pretty cool little machine. So anyhow, that's my thoughts and findings on this thing so far, and we'll see about you know, an indoor flight review as well as outdoor in the springtime. So that's, like I said, a few months away for sure. So, but well, I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. You know, leave your comments, questions. You know, and we can go from there. And thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next video.